So I'd love to be able to play this video, but unfortunately I can't because of the whole Minecraft and some of the music and stuff. But I saw this segment and I thought it was hilarious, and to see Nick get so upset over it, because uh, the Chargers and everyone was kind of trolling everyone, quite frankly, and the fact that the Chargers made fun of the Chiefs for losing to the Eagles, and Nick is pretty much like, you get gratification out of that, like you had nothing to do with it. And I thought it was hilarious. I really did. I love the energy that the Chargers are putting out there, and I think it's honestly a fun, fearless energy that if you didn't really believe that you were going to be able to make moves, then I think you would be a little bit more shy. But like, listen, we got teams all around the NFL doing it, and so to try to pretend like, oh, the Chiefs receipts, like that's where I always give pushback, because I'm just like, it's just kind of absurd. I mean, it's just like, didn't the Colts make fun of Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins and stuff like that? Like, which you could say was bad taste and all that. That's fine. I'm not there. I'm not here to necessarily discuss that. My larger point is that this is all fun and games, and to constantly try to pretend like it's some sort of grand insult against the Kansas City Chiefs, it's just ridiculous. And to try to lump that on the Chargers as being these bad guys, like, I don't know, man. It just gets a little tiring, and because even them, like Brew was like, I don't get it, and Wilds was like, yeah, I don't really get it either, and it was like, yeah, I get it. Like, you guys are a little bit older and whatnot, and it's not your thing. So again, I get it, but like, I don't know. I think what the Chargers have been doing is great. I I mean, listen, it's funny to me that through the first few days of all the schedule releases, I'm going through all these teams and all the segments that are being done, and I'm seeing Chiefs, I'm seeing Eagles, Lions, Baltimore, the Bills, the Chicago Bears, the Commanders. I'm seeing every team. I'm not seeing the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's just like, this is the closest that the Chargers got to on First Things First recently, right? Is talking about this. And same thing, a couple weeks ago, when it was like about Harbaugh saying, my job is to get Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame. And then again, they all tried to pretend like that was like a ridiculous thing to say, when it was like, that is Harbaugh's job. If he gets Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame, then he's done his job. That means he's winning games. That means they're winning playoffs. They're going to Super Bowls. They're playing great. He's getting the best he can out of his quarterback, out of his team, etc., etc. Hardly controversial, but we wanted to have a whole big party and act like it was like the most ridiculous thing that a coach could ever say. And it is interesting to me that I think we get a lot of twisted Chargers content, not unlike a little bit with the Broncos as well. Less so the Raiders, because they just haven't had a lot going on for them. That we get a lot of twisted Chargers content because of how popular the Chiefs are. And a lot of people keep saying, in like all my Chargers videos, where people are kind of talking about the Chargers and saying, hey, I think they're going to be good. I think they can win the division, etc., etc. And this was all before the schedule release. People are like, oh, here we go again, year after year. And it's always an avalanche of Chiefs fans, actually. I mean, that's really what it just consistently is just the Chiefs fans. And I think this is something that even I feel just by making videos, that like, I know when I make a Chargers video, a Commanders video, like any specific team that has a lot of an intensity in the division, I just know that counter fan base will always be there. Will always be there. I make an Eagles video and I got Commanders video saying he's not, Jalen Hurts isn't as good as Jaden Daniels. And then I make a Commanders videos and the Eagles fans pop up and they're like, let me know when Jaden Daniels gets to a Super Bowl, whatever it may be. And I think just because of how successful the Chiefs have been, you get a lot of people who steer a little bit more clear away from the Chargers as to not anger the Kansas City Chiefs fan base. That's kind of how I feel, and I feel like that's also why someone like Nick Wright for the longest time was, you know, he would always boost up the Dallas Cowboys and would never want to give any room to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I really think it's because he knows, hey, Dallas Cowboys, massive fan base. It's so much better to be able to compliment the Cowboys and bash the Eagles. You troll the Eagles fan base, and you got the Cowboys fans who are like, yeah, you're right. And it's just like, it's good business, man. It's good business. And I feel as though we see a part of that with the Chargers as well. And so, yeah, I hope the Chargers can live up to their trolling and really turn the corner within their franchise and really start to make serious moves, because I think it'll be one of the more fascinating things because of how popular the Chiefs are and how desperately the media loves to quadruple down onto the Kansas City Chiefs. And so by talking up the Chargers, by having the Chargers be a great team, by having them be competitive, by having them be a top team in the NFL, that is directly, that is directly the opposite, the counter to the Kansas City Chiefs, because it is within division. It's a little bit different when it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. You still have that heat there and that energy there, but in a lot of ways they can all exist more so. But like the Chargers winning the division, like it's you play them twice a year, every single year. Like it's just different. It's just different. We really haven't seen Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson exist, quite frankly, together as much as we've seen Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And I think that's more, again, because of a divisional thing. And so for every Kansas City Chiefs fan you're automatically against the Chargers. I think it's a little bit more likely that you can be more of a fan of both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. You can have a favorite and you can say that one's better than the other, but like you can still, it's just not the same, quite frankly. And so the rise of the Chargers would be fascinating to see how the conversation changes. If the Chargers become better than the Chiefs, reclaim their spot as a top team in the NFL, win the division, I would just be so fascinated, because I think things like Nick now being able to build a whole segment of like, oh, the receipts for the Chiefs and the Chargers, how dare they? Like that loses steam, that loses energy, and it's just like, where does the rest of the media go in that regard? Right? On First Take, on First Things First, on NFL Live, like all of those segments, like I would be fascinated to see, because over the years, you've built such a massive Kansas City Chiefs fan base where you've just been able to say nothing but positives year after year after year after year. If you now have to start saying that the Chargers are a top team, that they're better than the Chiefs, and that Justin Herbert's playing better than Patrick Mahomes, that they're going to win the division, that they're the number 1 seed or 2 seed or whatever, you're now angering a huge fan base that you've just spent the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years building. And again, like I said, I can feel it just on my small scale. Better believe the people who are, literally got millions and millions and millions of people watching, like, better believe they're going to feel it too. And I'm so fascinated to see how that navigates. And again, who knows if we'll actually get the chance, as again, I already know Chiefs fans are going to be like, well, it doesn't matter. We don't have to ever see that happen because it will never happen. Like I already know those comments are coming. Like that only further proves my point. So I'm fascinated to see. I think if I had to pick, I think there would be 2 things that could rock the NFL world more than anything right now, that could really flip it upside down more so than anything we see. If the Eagles repeat, because that would now really poke holes in the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, because it's like, well, we just now had Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles repeat. They just did something that you just spent, you know, honestly throughout the entire existence of Patrick Mahomes' career as like just these grandiose achievements, and the Chiefs is trying to create like something we've never seen before. And it's like, oh well, the Eagles just went to, it would be like 3 Super Bowls in what, 4 years or whatever, and they won 2 out of 3. It's like, all right, there you go. Now Jalen Hurts has 2 Super Bowls, which would just blow people's minds, because they would be like, I don't understand. Josh Allen is better, Lamar Jackson's better, Patrick Mahomes is better, but now the Eagles and Jalen, like, I just think it would cause people's brains to explode, especially if they beat the Chiefs again. Especially if they beat the Chiefs again. The NFL world would not know how to reconcile that. They would not know how to reconcile that. And if the Chargers, maybe the Broncos, but I think the Chargers probably more so, because of Justin Herbert and Harbaugh, just bigger personalities, a little bit more popular, LA, etc. If they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, if they win the division, if they become like the 1 or 2 seed, they get further in the playoffs, they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, or the Chiefs don't even make the playoffs, it would just be like, what, you know, like what do we do? You know, it's like we just spent the last 10 years building up the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, only to have the Philadelphia Eagles the only team to now go to 3 Super Bowls and win 2. Like, we've just now angered millions upon millions upon millions of fans, and we're losing those fans now because they don't want to hear us talk about how good the Eagles are. You know, they want to hear about how bad the Eagles are and how the Giants are trash and how Dak Prescott's the best quarterback. Like, it just causes everyone's head to explode. And we've been living in Chiefs Kingdom since 2018 or so. And, you know, it would be, I think those are the 2 things that could really just flip the NFL upside down. More so than like the Ravens winning, more so than the Bills. I think the Bills would be pretty exciting because they obviously haven't won, but like, I think people would be like, yep, it's about time. They would be like, well, it was only a matter of time. People aren't necessarily saying that about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, and Justin Herbert and the Chargers and whatnot. So, yeah, that's kind of the way how I'm looking at it right now. And yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting. So that's what I'm looking for in May right now, when we don't have games to unpack, and, you know, we can only look at the schedules so deeply. But you know what? We can also pretend like this is the most insulting thing ever, and how dare they do this, but, you know, what are you going to do? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers trolling the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you get it? Do you get it? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.